Hello everyone, I'm Li Shan. I'm lead solution architect of Cloud Native. Today I will introduce Alibaba Cloud Native solution for you. The content include industry trending and challenge, container service portfolio, deep dive for container service. Finally, I will show you some use cases. As we can see the evolutionary path from virtualization to infrastructure as code, to containers, to serverless. So now we are in containers and serverless era. By 2022, more than 75% of global organizations will be running containerized application in production. So we know in the further few years, cloud-native applications will become the norm. Actually, there have some common challenges during cloud-native transformation. How to use elasticity to saving cost and increase resource utilization. How to use serverless cluster running applications when bursting workloads. How to monitor Kubernetes cluster. Easy analysis application log and observe cluster event in a centralized event center. Currently have more and more enterprise using hybrid cloud and multi-cloud. How to easy management hybrid cloud or multi-cloud environment. Above challenges can be solved on Alibaba Cloud. Let's take a look at the solution. First of all, let's see container service portfolio. We provide two major products, ACK and ASK. The short named by Alibaba Cloud Container Service for Kubernetes and Alibaba Cloud Serverless Kubernetes Service. ACK and ASK seamlessly integrated with Alibaba Cloud products. Make you easy to use Kubernetes cluster on Alibaba Cloud. Under ACK and ASK, they integrated with computing, network, and storage. You could create ECS, EBM, ECI as Kubernetes worker node. You could create a Kubernetes cluster in a VPC, define IP range with vSwitch, assign port IP from ENI, export service by SLB. All kinds of storage you could using as Kubernetes persistent volume. The storage include EBS, NAS, CPFS, and OSS. Upon ACK and ASK, we provide security to make your Kubernetes cluster and application runtime be secure. Observability to make you easy observe your Kubernetes cluster and monitoring your application. For elasticity, we make you easy scale up or scale down your Kubernetes cluster. We also have multi-cloud and hybrid cloud management solution. If you want to use Istio or Knative, you could easily install add-on from console. Or when you create an ASK, you could directly deploy Knative serving on ASK without install any component. Sandbox containers, which is container running engine. It provides isolation container runtime. ACR, which is container registry. It can store Docker image and Helm chart. ASM, which is manage the service mesh. It makes you easy using service mesh without install and configure anything. Based on those abilities, all kinds of applications can be running on ACK and ASK. such as microservice application, stateful middleware, even big data and AI, blockchain and IoT. So you could using ASK directly from public cloud, or they can deploy in private cloud, or they can running on edge computing. This is the newest report from Gartner this year. They are competitive Alibaba, AWS, Google, IBM, Microsoft, and Oracle. Analysis from 6 criteria. So we can see ACK have rich products technical layout. We summarize the ACK advantage with 4 points. The first one is rich products. ACK have managed and dedicated cluster are available in 19 regions. ASK, which is a serverless container running on elastic container instance. ASM, which is Istio-based managed service mesh. ACR, which is private container registry. It can automatically synchronize images cross-region in worldwide. Includes image scanning with delivery chain. We also have hybrid cloud and multi-cloud solution. Allows you to manage external Kubernetes cluster outside Alibaba Cloud. The second one is large-scale practice. ACK used by Alibaba Group's large e-commerce platform Double 11. This demonstrates the robustness of ACK technologies. The third one is extremely elasticity. Application can be simply auto-scale in second. Scale up 500 nodes take 2.5 minutes in standard mode. Take 90 seconds in Swift mode. Just take 30 seconds on ECI. Supports HPA, Cron HPA, VPA with multiple dimension external metrics rather than only scale by CPU and memory metrics. Supports much more instance type, includes ECS, elastic bare metal, GPU instance, spot instance, elastic container instance. The last one is extreme performance. Container running on elastic bare metal improve performance by 20% than physical machine. Double 11 is the world's largest online shopping level festival from Alibaba Group. We have 2 million containers running on elastic bare metal. We also have cloud-native database we call PoloDB. It provides great performance. It can store 100 TB data and so million QPS. For applications reliability, we leverage extreme elasticity and to add stress testing, flow control, graceful degradation, monitoring, and notifying to achieve peak order creation per second of 544,000. For DevOps efficiency, we have accelerated image distribution over than 10,000 nodes to make pooling image be stable and faster in large cluster. For security part, it can protect attacks from internet. It also can detect risk from inside container. We also have much more innovation from big data and AI, and which is running on container as well, to increase resource utilization. We are the member in some open source community. We are initiative member of Open Application Model. Application team member elected as a member of CNCF Technical Oversight Committee. Next, let's go through deep dive for container service. When we create a cluster, have multi-templates we can choose. The standard managed cluster or heterogeneous computing cluster, elastic bare-metal cluster, edge cluster, Windows cluster, or standard dedicated cluster, dedicated heterogeneous cluster, or serverless cluster, or confidential computing cluster. So what's the difference of dedicated, managed, and serverless cluster? For dedicated Kubernetes, the master node and the worker node are managed by user. The managed Kubernetes cluster, the master node is managed by Alibaba Cloud, and the worker node is managed by user. For serverless Kubernetes cluster, the master node and the worker node are managed by Alibaba Cloud side. For managed and dedicated Kubernetes cluster, we can see the pod running on ECS or elastic bare-metal, but it can simply scale up to ECI. The scenario for application keep persistent running. It supports spot instance, GPU, FPGA instance. For serverless Kubernetes, we can see the pod running on ECI elastic container instance. The scenario for the application, which is temporary running, for example, data processing, CI/CD pipeline, or GitLab runner. It also supports spot instance and GPU instance. ACR, which is Container Registry Service. It can manage both Docker image and Helm chart. It provides end-to-end security, allow you pulling image with VPC internal endpoint, and you can define domain and network ACL. It also can scan vulnerability during build image. So it has accelerated image distribution based on P2P technology in large cluster to make pooling image be stable. It also has image replication across different regions in worldwide. For storage, all kinds of application storage can be using with Kubernetes persistent volume. Each storage fitting for different scenario. The cloud disk is good for stateful application database. The NAS is fitting for log shared data. OSS is good for media genetic data. CPFS is good for HPC deep learning. Local disk is fitting for database and Hadoop. And all kinds of storage is support end-to-end encryption with customer master key and bring your own key. Cloud disk and local disk support online resizing, and metrics can be monitored. For OSS, we support distribution cache acceleration for machine learning. For network, we provide two types of network, fly-node and two-way. The fly-node is easy to use. Pod leverage VPC to communication. A two-way support network policy, and performance is better than fly-node. In the two-way network, the pod connection with ENI, Elastic Network Interface. Two-way is implemented by Alibaba Cloud. It also supports exclusive ENI mode. In that mode, the network performance do not have any consumption. For security, we provide end-to-end cloud-native security. In infrastructure layer, we support fine-grained algorithm for pod. For software layer, we provide image scanning and image signing DevSecOps to make software be secure during supply chain. For runtime layer, we provide network policy, KMS, runtime defense to protect application runtime be secure. For elasticity, we provide two-level scaling, resource scaling, and application scaling. For resource scaling, it can be scaled up or scaled down ECS, EVM, GPU-based instance, spot instance, or virtual node. For application scaling, we support HPA, VPA, and cron HPA. For HPA part, it can be triggered by external metrics, such as QPS, website latency, etc. Observability. We know in observability have three pillars. Alibaba Cloud have some services mapping for logging, metrics, and tracing. All those services are seamlessly integrated with ACK as well to make you easy observe your Kubernetes cluster and monitor your application. For AI and big data scenario, we provide heterogeneous computing, make you simply build CPU, GPU, FPGA, RDMA, and storage for machine learning and big data fundamental environment. Support major machine learning framework such as TensorFlow, MXNet, Caffe, etc. based on Kubeflow. For increased resource utilization, we optimize the Kubernetes scheduling strategy to make pods be tight on GPU node. We also have shared GPU ability, and we provide GPU isolated. We also provide core scheduling and capacity scheduling strategy, and the core scheduling developed by Alibaba Cloud and contributed to community. The GPU and shared GPU utilization can be monitored in Prometheus. On top of that, we provide our Arena, which is a command line tools to make it easy to run machine learning job. Arena initial developed by Alibaba Cloud and contributed to Kubeflow. Hybrid cloud and multi-cloud strategy. From our experience, the three types of solutions are popular. The first one is active-active. The multi-cluster running on cloud and IDC, respectively, and leverage federation to manage the multi-cluster. CI/CD platform deploy application to multi-cluster and using GTM to manage global traffic. The second one is autoscale to Alibaba Cloud, the major application running on IDC. When application needs scale, it can autoscale into Alibaba Cloud. Both services is registered to the same microservice registration and discovery. The third one is ACK multi-cloud management. Kubernetes cluster in IDC or other cloud provider can be registered to ACK. ACK multi-cloud management be able to manage cluster as the same as ACK cluster. The register cluster could be using log service or ARMS Prometheus to logging and monitoring the cluster or application. This is an example for cloud-native HA application architect. The Kubernetes cluster deployed in multi-zone using PolarDB as database, leverage log service, ARMS Prometheus, and ARMS to observe application and Kubernetes cluster. Next, I will show you some use case. This is a part of our customer around the world, like Siemens, Olympic, Temenos, Dana, or Investream. This customer was built Alibaba Cloud service with everything as code. The red color is created by Terraform. The blue color is created by Helm-chart. So everything as code reduce operation time and avoid error happened by human careless. This customer is running microservice on Alibaba Cloud. So the microservice is running on ACK and expose API through API gateway using WAF, anti-DDoS to protect website. Some files stored in OSS, also using log service, ARMS Prometheus to observe Kubernetes cluster and monitoring application. This customer is from monolith to microservices. The microservice deployed on ACK and some file stored in OSS using Redis, MySQL, PolarDB, AnalyticDB to store data and analysis data. The service can be accessed by website and mobile application. The customer side, by leveraging the solution proposed by Alibaba Cloud, we completed the re-architecture from monolith to microservices, shortened its time of app development and deployment, reduced IT and resource expenditure, and improved reliability and agility. This customer built AIoT on Alibaba Cloud, from collect sensor data to transfer data to data management to build a data middle layer, expose machine learning model through API gateway, some services running on ACK. Above content is about Alibaba Cloud native solution. We talk about Alibaba Cloud Container Service portfolio, Cloud Native Storage, Cloud Native Network, Cloud Native Security, Auto-scaling strategy, end-to-end observability, Cloud Native AI and Big Data, Hybrid Cloud, Multi-Cloud solution. So thank you for your time. Thank you attended this session.